Chris, can you start with Southern Illinois, sort of an odd first-timer for you guys, and how something like that gets on the schedule? Is it as simple as they needed a game, you needed a game?
Yes. There are platforms now and websites that the different schools can post when they need games, what they're looking for, the dates. Southern Illinois matched up with us. We've played teams over the years from the Valley. This is the first time we're playing Southern Illinois. But yeah, that's, it's so much harder to get games now than it ever has been. And so I think, these kind of non-regional games are a little bit more common.
Home and home?
It is a home and home, yes. Yep.
Can you say a word or two about Mikkel, whose assist-turnover ratio is significantly improved from last year?
Yeah, that's one of the main things we've talked about with Mikkel is, I don't like to necessarily just have a goal that's statistically oriented, without, more thought behind it or more nuance. But that was something we did talk about, is that, you have to have more assists and turnovers, and, that, 2-to-1 ratio starts to be pretty good. And, but you also don't want to have a guy who's not, taking a few chances and being aggressive just because he's worried about that particular stat, which I don't think he is. But yes, I think that just, having a better sense, better command of what we're trying to do, trying and being aggressive more at the right times, I think that all leads into it. And, he's done really well and improved significantly. And I think can even improve some more. I mean, we've counted up a couple of times where he's, could add 3 or 4 more assists, and we haven't necessarily scored, which is part of it. But yeah, I think that he can continue to improve in that area.
Hey, you've talked about since May the different energy and camaraderie and the personality of this team. Did you feel the rebounding would be good? It's been a soft spot for Richmond over the years. It's not this year.
I thought we had a chance for it to be. That was as much as. Of course, that's like everything. That depends who your guys are. That's by far the most important component. And then it was a little bit more of a tactical, strategic play on our part that we thought we could be good enough in transition defense, and that we wouldn't put our defense at risk, that we could pursue more offensive rebounds aggressively. And then we've been a pretty good defensive rebounding team for a little while now. But again, that's all always going to be determined by the players. Mike Walls has gotten a lot of rebounds. Jonathan Beagle's a very good rebounder. And then you add in some guys who can get some rebounds, hold their own on the glass. Jaden Daughtry. So that's always going to be personnel driven. But there was a touch of that was us, really emphasizing the offensive rebounding part.
Talk about trying to get your team to kind of where you want it to be once conference play starts. That's right around the corner. Kind of where do you think your team is at in terms of?
Yeah, I really like the group a lot, and I like how we've approached everything, games, meetings, travel, all those things. So I think that's really been positive. What we're really working toward is how do you be as aggressive as you possibly can, but also still take really good shots, and so sometimes when teams are very aggressive or trying to really run in transition, they talk about shooting in the first 7 seconds or 10 seconds, and we've just talked about just trying to get a great shot, but hopefully we can get it early because we are running and we have that capability. So I think that's the one that as we get better and better at that, then I think that'll make us, very difficult to defend, and our ball movement and sense for the game will show up even more.
So there were times where you have a good non-conference and then conference play doesn't go the way you expected from what you'd seen before, or vice versa? Yeah.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, anything can happen. We talked to the guys yesterday. There were a couple of upsets in college basketball, which we always try to point out to the guys. The more you're involved in it, the fewer upsets there are, because those things can happen. And at this level, it's so much of it, such an emotional game, such an intense game, and such a momentum game that things are not always going to go your way. It's like having a newborn. You think they've settled into a particular phase where they're going to bed at a certain time and hungry at a certain time, and they're not. So that's college basketball. Every time you have to come out and you just need to play with the requisite intensity because everybody is so good at this level.
What do you think the reasons are for that?
I would just say like my confidence coming into this year, having 2 years under my belt, and I would just say, playing within the offense. I would say being a guard in the offense. There's a lot of touches around with other players, and it helps me with not having a lot of turnovers. A lot.
With the rebounding, that's been the one thing that's really stood out this year. Do you have a sense as to why the rebounding's significantly better?
I would say this year we're just playing with a lot more urgency. Rebounding is really a big emphasis this year, and I think we're living up to it, and we're doing pretty good.
Where did the urgency come from?
Where did the urgency come from? I would say just last year not doing too well on the boards, and I would say I guess our coaches, really took that and really made that a big emphasis and brought that into this year.
There's a lot of people wondering if Richmond's any good, just because the schedule's been sort of home heavy. What do you say in terms of how you feel about this group?
How do I feel about this group? I would say, we're a really deep team this year for sure, and we got a lot of guys who could give you different things on different nights. And right now we're being really consistent, and I think that's gonna happen throughout the whole year, in my opinion.
More up tempo. As well, 80 plus points a game. How does that kind of play into your game?
I like to play fast, playing transition, so that really helps me a lot. And I would say it just gets more points up on the scoreboard at the end of the day. And
how much does it help that there's an 11-man rotation to do that? How have you kind of adjusted to the in and out of the game?
I would say getting in and out. It definitely allows you to play harder, knowing that you're gonna get subbed out soon. So just knowing that, just going out there, play hard. I think that's really what.
Coach Mooney always says that maybe it's not the transfers that lift the team; it's the guys who are coming back that lift the team. Did you feel as though you were sort of instructor since May in terms of telling Argabright, telling Johnston, telling David what to do, when? You know what I'm saying?
I would say certain points. In the summer, I would say I was telling guys more things what to do, telling them what to do. But I think now they have a good grasp. But I do help them a little bit on certain stuff. But yeah, for sure.
Who helped you?
Who helped me? Delani Hunt, Jordan King. Yeah.
Pretty good guys to help.
Yeah, pretty. Yep.
I would call Southern Illinois maybe sneaky good opponent. Sneaky because we've never played them before.
Yeah.
Not from this region of the country. Does that change your scouting on them at all? Learning, who they are, what you're kind of going up against tomorrow?
So we know that they play really aggressive, really hard. They play in a really good conference, the Southern Valley Conference. So Belmont is in that same conference, so we know we're gonna get a good opponent on Saturday. So we just gotta come out and play hard. And we
JD say anything to you about him? He played him a couple times last year.
Did JD say anything? He hasn't said anything yet, but I'll probably hear something tonight. Maybe we'll probably hear something today, but yeah, he hasn't said anything yet.